Welcome in. We have Matt McKernan today, our horticulturalist with K-State Research and Extension. I love this topic because how many of you actually think that you need to take care of the tools? Like right before spring, you should, I don't know, TLC them.
Absolutely. And all we're trying to do is, it's way too easy to put our tools away dirty or with plant sap on them. So we want to get them cleaned up, we want to get them sharpened, and that's just going to make our gardening that much easier the rest of the growing season.
Right.
Which is great.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So how do you start?
So whether it's hand pruners, whether it's shovels, all we want to start with is cleaning first.
Okay.
We want to take maybe a paint scraper or a wire brush and get any big chunks of dirt off of our surfaces first. And then typically follow up with either like a scouring pad from the kitchen or some steel wool and essentially scrub it good so that all the dirt is gone.
Okay.
But we can also start to get down to some of the rust on the tools that might be there as well.
That's what can decay them over time. Okay.
If you have a lot of rust, we might need to move to some sandpaper is a great option. We can always start with a rougher grit sandpaper, a lower number, and then move to a finer grit sandpaper with a second finish.
Because you want it smooth.
Yeah, you want it smooth, but you want to make sure you get all that rust off.
Okay, and what about the handle? You say don't do anything except maybe a little oil if it's a new handle.
Or if it's a really old handle. So if your handles are kind of rough, splintery, I would take that sandpaper and run it up and down the handle as well, going from a rougher to a smoother sandpaper.
No need to do that if it's new.
Exactly. If it's got a new handle and it's really polished and sealed well, probably don't need to break that seal.
Right.
But on our older tools, especially once we've had them a couple of years, they typically get a little rough. Once we've got them smooth with the sandpaper, we want to use a boiled linseed oil to kind of hydrate that wood so that it's nice and ready to go.
Right, and you say grab some WD-40 or whatever for the metal.
Yeah, after we've got that rust off the metal, we want to make sure that we use some kind of lubricant to seal that over to prevent rust from coming back.
What about sharpening?
Sharpening is really important. None of our shovels that we buy typically come with any kind of angle, so we always want to make sure that we sharpen the top side or the side that's going to hold the soil when we lift with our shovels. We want to go about 1/4 of an inch up, and we want to sharpen it just like we do our kitchen knives so that it's easier to cut through the soil and roots.
You said.
Yeah, not steep, only about 1/4 of an inch up, and really only, again, on that one side, just so we get a nice clean cut through roots and soil as we try to dig.
What if you're talking about prunes?
Pruners, I would take these all the way apart. Take a couple pictures as you do so you know how to put them together. But take them apart, clean all the parts with sandpaper, and then oil them really good to put them back together.
No sharpening?
Absolutely. If you can sharpen them, usually we use a whetstone or a diamond stone to kind of put just a slight edge on that edge.
You can get it at a hardware store?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, and then what about, go ahead.
Yeah, we can also use files or angle grinders depending on especially the size of our shovels.
This would be my go-to.
It's a lot easier and a lot more controllable. The angle grinder, if we use that to create our 1/4 inch edge, we really want to make sure that we are careful and don't heat the metal too much or take too much off at one time as we go through with the grinder.
It's all about taking care of your things.
It is.
This is why we have nice things.
Exactly.
All right, we'll be right back.